Yes, thank you for taking your time to come by. I think that everyone knows the story, but I will start. I want to talk about the actors most today, Ruben. So you're not going to talk that much today, but I need a brief introduction of the film.
Well, the film is called The Entertainment System is Down, and it takes place on a long-haul flight. And always when I'm working, I'm trying to look for like a kind of simple, strong setup. And I'm very happy with this setup. It's basically what happens is that quite soon after takeoff on this flight from London to Sydney, you can think of the flight that is maybe 22 hours or something like that. Quite soon after takeoff, they realize that they have a problem with the entertainment system. So the entertainment system goes down. So now we have modern human beings that are completely used to distract ourselves with our individual screens, that when the iPhones and iPads is charging out, they are doomed to deal with their own boredom. And I'm going to look on this aspect, like taking away entertainment on a society level. What happens there? And then what happens in between this couple, because what happens kind of early in the film is that when the male character, when they don't have any entertainment, the male character falls asleep, and the woman, she's bored. And she's sitting there, and after a while she sees her husband's phone. And she decides to take it and to try to unlock it. It turns out she doesn't know the code. So she tries to get the idea to, maybe I can unlock it with Face ID. But he has his mouth too open when he's sleeping, so she has to very carefully close his mouth. And then she manages to unlock the phone.
My improv. That's what I did. I'll correct you.
And then, of course, she finds out that he have had multiple affairs with younger women. So they are going to deal with this during this flight. It's going to be an emotional roller coaster. And yeah, so I think the idea is like, I'm pretty sure that if we take away entertainment from our society, divorce rate would go up very drastically. And I think we're going to investigate parts like this, yeah.
Why do you want to work with these actors, Kirsten and Daniel?
Well, I think like this, I love when you have a challenge for yourself. And if you look at the entertainment system now, this movie, we are going to spend like 99% on this flight. We're going to be in this closed set. And I can't create any dynamics to cut to another environment or, try to, it has to be like something in the acting, something looking at these faces, something with the presence of the actors. That is a great, great challenge in this film. And I'm looking forward to try to challenge myself also, and of course, Kirsten and Daniel try to challenge the way that we have been working before. I want to push up acting on a level that I have not seen in a long time, and really, really work with the presence. And if you manage to create something that is like grabbing the audience from the beginning, and we are following this chain of reaction and following the journey of these two characters, and just be there in the presence with their faces and so on.
Now over to you. Why do you want to work with Ruben, is my question.
Who doesn't want to work with Ruben?
Have you heard anything about his process?
He told me.
Yeah.
And also I did an improv for him, which is basically, well, what he explained of me finding the phone and all of that. I sent a self-tape to Ruben of doing that whole process he just described.
And his wife told me that I'm going to end up hating him because he's so persistent and so demanding. But this is exactly what I'm looking forward to, is to go to the core of things. And I think I've never had the privilege of playing such an intense relationship, a couple and family relationship in a film ever. So.
How was the casting process, or did he call you, or how did everything work?
It all began here in Canada. I was still smoking, and I was standing there with some cool Scandinavians. I think Mats Mikkelsen was one of them. And then they kept on talking to this guy, and I thought, like, geez, are you the director of Force Majeure? And they said, oh yeah, that's me. I thought, oh, that's incredible. And then I was all over him. And then I found out that he had moved to Mallorca. So I gave him my number, never expecting that he would call me. But one day in Mallorca, he called me. So I got all nervous and organized a barbecue. Got the best wine and the best fish. And I thought, now this great auteur is coming to my place. And I was, preparing all the clever things that I could say.
Oh
and then,
my God.
as the Swedish, it's so, within a second, I lost all my restraints. And we had the most wonderful conversations. And then along the way, one day he said, well, maybe you could be right for my film. And I said, oh, Jesus, but don't promise me anything.
Can I tell you something about that barbecue night? Maybe this is a little bit too private. I promise you don't write anything about this. Because what happened, Donald get very drunk. And he started to open up about family life. He started to... No, but it was... They're really like, not bullshit, Okay, we know how it is to be in a couple, and a couple relationship, and even if you love someone, the struggles that comes with that. And it was not trying to put that in a kind of sweet way that it is. It's just like, and I think both with, first of all, of course, the respect for both of your work, but human beings that you can talk about too, and like, come on, seriously, let's cut the bullshit. And yeah.
And what are your expectations? Because I think you're actually going to sit in this plane like for 8 weeks or something.
It's going to be a bumpy ride, no?
I mean, I just am excited to be fearless and just bear it all, I love working with people who want to do that. So I know that this group will do that together.
And the producers I have to talk to, because I know that you actually bought a plane, a Boeing, some number 767 maybe.
747.
Oh,
it's a classic one, yeah. Show it, Dave.
Show, yeah. So we have, when we had proof.
I tried to impress Kirsten when I wanted her to take the part.
So this is the other main character.
We also have it here, yes.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's an airplane. That's what it looks like. I can tell you, it was fun because I was doing casting in London and Eric was in, northern London?
Cotswold, south
yeah.
of London.
And Eric was walking around with FaceTime, calling me on FaceTime, walking around in this plane and showing me the airplane. And, okay. And then a couple of weeks later, we started to talk about the plane again, and like, did you actually buy the plane? Yes, we bought the plane, and it was quite early in the process of the film, so it's like, then we have to make the movie. So it was, yeah, but it's a beautiful platform thing, I think, because what I love to work with these two gentlemen over here is that the budget is put into the making of the movie. There's no like cut-off of 20% that you're trying to save for the production company or anything like that. We put the money into the days of shooting and trying to do something unique with every project. And one of the reasons that we wanted to have an airplane this time, the whole airplane, is we have been watching quite a few airplane movies, and very often, they are putting the characters in the corner, just pretending, they're on this big flight, but you don't really see it. And this time, what I would like to do is to put them in the middle of the crowd, so when they are having like an argument or like a dialogue scene between, like, when you try to like whisper over what you're dealing with, there's going to be 300 people in that shot.
So you're actually going to cast 300 people, or?
No, maybe we're going to cast the ones that are closest to them, and then you are, of course, having extras, a lot of extras. But it's going to demand like a lot of extras in every shot. And also the reason when we have an airplane, a whole airplane, to not only build a section, but that you can walk from the cockpit all the way to the back. So you can do longer tracking shots and really create a feeling of being in the space. Because it's fucking hard to make a good airplane movie. When you watch just the airplane movies that have been, it's, so it's going to demand a lot of you guys. Yeah.
I think we can open up for some questions from the journalists.
Yeah, we'd like to know, Kirsten, how you got together with Ruben and Did you also have a barbecue and got drunk? Or?
No. We did Zoom, and he explained the entire film to me, and then he said, I'd love to see you film yourself in a situation, which he already explained, on a plane, you know, with your husband. So I did a whole improv of that. I did it myself. And then we Zoomed again after that, and I thought we were going to do a work session over Zoom, which we ended up just talking, but before I was so nervous because I've never done a Zoom improv, and I thought we were going to do that, so I was doing all this like acting meditation stuff to relax, and I'm like all these weird, you know, sensorial, like relaxing things, because I was, you know, how do you improvise over Zoom? I don't know, so I was so freaked out, and then we just talked, and I kept waiting for you to be like, okay, now we're gonna improvise, and you never did it, and I was like, thank God. Because I was so stressed out, and you kind of told me I got the role, but in a very subtle way, and I called my husband, I FaceTimed him, and I said, I think I got this role, and we were screaming so happy, and then I was like, but he isn't on tour, and you never know, and so then I waited until it was official, and then I just sobbed like a happy child at Disneyland.
Picking up on that from Kirsten, you have experience already with a pretty courageous, fearless, sometimes outrageous, and sometimes big-mouthed Scandinavian film director. Do you see a little bit of Lars von Trier in Ruben, and do you look forward to your press conferences together?
I might pass on that question. But yeah, I always want to work with people that, you know, push the boundaries of cinema. That's always my dream, to be a part of working with those type of filmmakers.
Yeah, but do you sense a little bit of I mean, they are different, of course, but
Yeah,
is there
very
a little bit
different.
of Lars in Ruben as well?
I don't know him well enough yet.
Any last questions? Otherwise, what are the big challenges for you now? And what's coming up next?
Well, I think that...
Making the film.
Yeah, making the film, of course. It's going to be quite tough to shoot this film. It's not so fun to be in the studio for 70 days and to try to find the energy and the motivation of being in the same environment and trying, you know, to push that and to push some level, make every scene elevate and become a little bit better than you thought of, because that's what it is for me when it comes to shooting. You're trying to make every scene of the film the best scene of the film. And every time when you start shooting, you feel like, oh fuck, this is so bad. And then you have to try to find the perspective, the angle on it that makes it elevate. So the shooting is going to be super exhausting, and I hope fun, of course, also. But I hope that we can get together now during the period before the shooting starts, and of course talk a lot about who are these two persons and how do we relate to the situations that they are dealing with, and get the truth about it, you know, in some way. It's to get the truth and to be able to create a strong presence in the acting that makes it a journey to follow them on this airplane.
Thank you very much, and we will meet again in Cannes maybe in a couple of years?
2026, yes.
2026.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming. Now we're going to set up a photo call here, so for you, those of you who would like to take photos, you can do that now.